Hey, John here, and today I'm going to take you inside the BGI Premium membership, and I'll share one of the videos from the premium course, St. James Infirmary Blues. It's an amazing staple blues tune that I think you really need to get familiar with. We do a drop D fingerstyle arrangement, build it out with 2 solos. There's a lot we dive into, but right here today, I want to share with you that melody and how we put it together in this arrangement. So tune to drop D, and let's roll that lesson. It starts off with a little bit of a pickup measure, and we're going to count in 1, 2, 3, 4 triplet. And the reason we're counting triplet on 4 is that we need that rhythm. And we're not actually going to play when we say 4, but when we say triplet, that's when these 2 notes come in. We're going to play with the D and then the minor third F when we say triplet. So we count in like this: 1, 2, 3, 4 triplet. 1. That's where we're headed, okay? So it's a little bit tricky to get used to. You might want to play 1, 2, 3, 4, but that's not what it is. We're going to delay that D and split that final pickup beat into 3 parts, a triplet. So 4 triplet, 1, 2, 3. All right, that's the first little move there, but make sure you get the timing of that entry point down, because that triplet move with the melody is going to happen in several different instances throughout the melody. All right, so we're doing that 4 triplet, 1. So you get into this little shape because you want these to ring. All right, so hold your D minor, the D, the minor third, and then the 5th, which is A, happening here, 1st string, 5th fret. So 4 triplet, 1. Then we're pumping the bass. All right, and then we're going to change chords, but I want to talk about the bass before we do. I've got a light palm mute happening here, and I'm just pumping with a dead bass throughout. And this first part, because we're on a D minor chord in the progression, we're using this low D in the bass. That's made possible by dropping our string down a whole step, the 6th string. All right, so then we're going to move into an A7, and we're going to play 2 notes from an A7 chord on top of the bass. So this is the shape that we're going to use here, all right? And I'm thinking of it, as coming from this big bar chord, but we're really just needing a couple of notes here. The notes that we need are, I'm going to put this G down here, although we're not going to use it, but you certainly could. But then we're going to put down the index finger on the 6th fret there. That's the major third of an A7 chord. And then the G, which is the flat 7 of an A7 chord, which really gives this that bluesy sound, okay? Then we're going to pinch with the bass, those 2 melody notes and the bass. All right? And then for beat 4 of this first measure, we're going to hit the bass and then do that triplet move. All right, so the bass starts off the triplet, and then the notes change because we're still in our A7 chord here. We're going to play the G and then A before we walk back down on the top of beat 1 to that minor third, and then the D. All right, so let's hear that phrase, starting with the pickup. 1, 2, 3, 4 triplet. 1, 2, 3, 4 triplet. 1 and 2, 3, 4. All right, so we're really just finishing out that second measure of the melody with the bass. All right, just pumping that on the downbeat. So we come back 1 and 2, 3, 4 triplet. There's that triplet again. So here at the end of measure 2 for the melody, we're going to hit the bass. That starts the triplet, so 4 triplet. Then that same move, the same spot we've been in before with the pickup measure. All right. Then we move into a really cool section of this. This is where the chord changes up to that G minor. All right. So we've got 4 triplet 1. We're letting these ring. We hit that 1, same as before. Make sure you hit it solidly, not hard, but make sure you've got a good note ringing on top, because what we're going to do is hold this and then slide that entire shape up to the 12th fret for the G minor notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, triplet. 1, 2, 3. So you're going to slide over beat 2, and then at beat 3, you want to be there in position, and then pluck the 10th fret up here on top, okay? To kind of hit that part of the melody. So we're kind of dragging these tones along. It's okay to hear them. They're notated as ghost notes in your notation, but if you brush through and hear them lightly in the background, it's going to add a little bit of nuance and color to your performance here, and that's quite all right. But we really want to focus and make sure that we hit the melody notes nice and strong, okay? Not necessarily loud, just make sure you get a clear note and that it's pronounced. The melody needs to pop and stand above everything else. So that's what we're doing here. 4 triplet. 1, 2, 3. On B4, pinch the second string at the 11th fret. That's that B flat. So that's our flat 6 coming from the natural minor scale here. All right, and we're going to pinch that on our way to a chord change. This is where the progression moves back to A7, and we're going to play our A bass and then this shape for A7. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 triplet. Okay, so here when we get into A, we're going to pinch the A note up here at the 10th fret, and this is a little bit of a different shape. We're not in A7 so much, as this has more of an A major sound because of our tones here. A, E, and then A again. Really just an A5, not a real full chord, but we've got enough to do what we need to do here. What we're going to do is pinch on the 10th fret up top with the bass, and then on the end of 1, we're going to roll through and hit that E on the 3rd string there, okay? And then just pump the bass. But you may have guessed it, we're going to end this with another triplet move, okay? So once we do our picking 1 and 2, 3 triplet, we're moving back to this set of triplets here. We're going to use our bass for the 4 beat, and then the triplet is that same old thing, the D and the F on our way to that A. And then again, we've been here before. All right, once you get here and you kind of walk down the tones of that D minor triad, what we're going to do is hold that solid, and when we pluck that D, we're going to slide down and then back up. And it gives it just a cool little embellishment to that all-important D note, okay? It's going to sound like this in time. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Make sure you're back on the top of beat 3. Let's hear it again. In that measure by pinching, and then on the and of 4 playing that 3rd string again, that D note. Then we're going to get into our B flat 7 by pinching. So we're going to make this little shape here like a D major, just here on strings 4, 3, and 2, and we're going to do it at 6 and 7. That's a B flat 7, or at least the core notes of it. You really get the vibe of B flat 7 here. All right, and what we're going to do is pinch strings 4 and 2 for beat 1 on the and of 1, grab that 3rd string, and then take your little finger and hit the 8th fret, okay? So if you were to play a full bar chord version of a B flat 7 chord, that would be there. That's the 5th of the chord, all right? But what we're going to do is just call it out just by reaching over just before we change chords down to the A7. And do that same picking where we're pinching these 2 strings and then the 3rd string. And then after you do that here, we're going to shift positions down to our open position here and play the C. It's the flat 7 from the natural minor scale, and then the D. So we're kind of coming home here. All right, so that measure sounds like this. All right, 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. All right, let's play through the melody slowly before we talk about a couple of variations to end this with a bar of D minor. So here we go, starting with those pickup notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, triplet. All right, I hope you dig that. I hope it was helpful to you. If so, consider checking out premium membership with BGI. It's what helps me bring these videos to you free each and every week. Speaking of which, I'll see you back here next week for another Acoustic Blues lesson. Until then, practice smart and play on.